We would like to invite our next speaker on stage, Director Sales India and SAARC, CrowdStrike, and he's going to be speaking about security for the digital era. Please put hands together, ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome on stage Mr. Iyer.
Good evening, everyone. It's as everybody said earlier, right? It's so nice to be here after almost more than 2 years. We are having these kind of in-person meetings. So I really look forward to this kind of interactions. And over the next 1.5 days, I would like to look forward to have more interaction with a lot of my friends are over here. I would also like to make new friends and then take these discussions forward. One of the key things when I was given this particular topic. What I personally feel and believe is that there are two industries, who have been at the forefront of adopting, the technology to really leverage technology for their business purpose. Without a threat, it will be BFSI to lead with, and of course the ITS industry. These are the two industries which have been at the forefront of, using technology for their business, etc. over a period of time. And I did like the initial keynote session where Mr. Singhal also spoke about how banking has evolved over a period of time. Definitely threw a lot of insights in terms of what is it that we have been really seeing. And the previous panel discussion also was quite insightful in terms of looking at, I liked Mr. Murthy's suggestion that the technologists today have become from the back room to the front room. So that's a key thing that I really liked. And also what Mr. Shitu also said in terms of, it's not that we have not been doing it earlier, but it's just that the last couple of years, the pace has really increased a lot. And the pandemic also taught us in terms of how we work differently as well. How is it that we could have remote people working remotely without getting impacted and business really runs as usual. So definitely as we do that, definitely what we call it is in terms of the attack surface area, as we call it in the security industry, right, also increases because you are having people accessing their mobile phone, accessing applications from the report, from their browsers, etc. And that really throws a lot of challenges because the adversaries are looking at it and trying to, get the gaps in your infrastructure. So that's the reason. Over the next few minutes, what I would like to touch upon is what are the challenges that we are seeing, especially the top 3 challenges, and what is it as a philosophy that CrowdStrike has really followed to really address this. And I've taken some 2 or 3 specific use cases, right? How many of you are aware of CrowdStrike here? There are quite a few hands I can see, right? So people know CrowdStrike as an EDR company, yeah? Endpoint security company earlier. Today we have transformed a lot. So from our perspective as well, we have also transformed in terms of our solutions using the same single lightweight agent that we speak about. So that's what I would like to touch upon. 3 use cases specifically to the BFSI sector, which we have seen more and more people adopting for it. So that's some over and outside of the EDR. So outside of EDR, because everybody is aware, they are aware that we are an endpoint security company. But over and above that, what are the other 3 use cases that we are seeing as more traction in the BFSI space is what I would like to touch upon. And since the time is short, I would like to take you through this. We have our stall here. Definitely, we are here for the next 1.5 days. We can have more discussions offline as well. Yeah. So at CrowdStrike, our fundamental mission is that we stop breaches. So that's one key mission that we have as a company, right? Our company, we were formed in 2011. We have been existent for the last 11 years now. And right from day one, we said, our fundamental mission is going to be stopping breaches. How is it that we could really stop? And what we have seen, right, in the last couple of years, the amount of breaches have really grown up significantly. There was an IDC study recently which came out, which spoke about that globally, in the last 1 year itself, almost 2/3 of the organizations, 2/3, that is almost 66 to 67% of the organizations have got breached in some form or the other, right? And again, it's just not limited to the large organizations, because typically we understand that if there is a breach, it will only be the large organization. No, what the study said that it's across organizations, be it large or small, BFSI, non-BFSI as well, right? So that's the key thing that we have seen the last couple of years. And why is it happening? What are the challenges, right? If you look at that from a security standpoint, today the key challenges are, one is attack sophistication. What do I mean by that? Because traditionally we have all built our infrastructure to really take care of malware-based attacks, right? Signature-based attacks. If there is a particular attack, I have a signature, I have a traditional antivirus vendor or some other vendor who really provide me with those signatures to really take care of that, right? Now that is one of the key things that traditional infrastructures have been built upon. But today the attacks are much more sophisticated. There are reports, we just came out with a threat report which talked about 68%, today it's 68% of the attacks are non-malware based. So when I'm talking about non-malware based, what does it mean? Fileless attacks, it could be ransomware attacks, anywhere. So there are multiple different, because the adversaries are also getting smarter, right? They are also having the tools and technologies in place to really attack and find newer ways of attacking, right? And so that is a key area that organizations are grappling with today. The second is siloed solutions. Traditionally, we have built our infrastructure to take care of wherever there is a security problem, I introduce a particular solution. Similarly, if you look at what we have seen with customers, where at the endpoint level, there are multiple agents running various different security solutions, right? So that is another, they don't talk to each other. Then you need a human intervention to really ensure that you find meaningful insights out of that the logs that it is really throwing, right? So that is the second key challenge. The third is also, and it's a huge challenge, and it's a global challenge as well, skill shortage. The amount of people available to really mitigate any particular and understand the security landscape is actually very, very limited. And that's a key challenge that we are seeing in the industry today. So this is what I spoke about, right? We have almost 68% of attacks are today non-malware based. So the defenses are outmoded. So you need, as the attackers are, looking at newer trade craft, you also need to improve your attack this thing. How do you really protect yourself, right? So it's all, as we call it, survival of the fastest. How quickly can I ensure that if anybody enters my organization from a security standpoint, any intrusion that happens from an adversary, how quickly can I really get back, right? How quickly can I ensure that he's thrown out? So this is the micro-attack framework. The micro-attack framework says that there are multiple steps before, right from the time that an attacker gets into a system till the time that he makes a lateral movement across your organization, right? So this 1 to 8, these are the various steps typically that they follow, and beyond 8, the moment he's there at the level 8, the lateral movement happens, that's where he could harm the organization in a significant fashion, right? And this time is reducing day by day because the adversaries are getting smarter, they are getting automated, right? So today, the traditional earlier, this time for an attacker, the moment he enters your particular system and then tries to do the lateral movement, it used to take hours and days. Today, we are talking about, as per the latest report, we are talking almost about 98 minutes. So you just have about 98 minutes by the time by which an attacker can get into your system and then look at various kind of credentials, theft, and do the lateral movement, right? So you need to have systems which can really take care and reduce the time to detection and respond. So this is what we follow as in CrowdStrike. We talk about 110-60. What does it mean? That means we could detect any intrusion within 1 minute, right? And I could investigate within 10 minutes. And within 60 minutes, I will ensure that there is a response. So that's the kind of thing that we are talking about, which is much so that we have to be faster. We have to up our game. And what our customers have told us is, we were just recently talking last couple of weeks back to one of the large conglomerates who are using the CrowdStrike solution, and they are seeing that in their environment, they are seeing that 60 coming down to almost 39. So that's the kind of thing that we are talking about. So we are talking about speed and consolidation. A very busy chart. So I would like to just summarize this. What we are talking about here is the CrowdStrike performance. One is ours is a cloud native solution. Okay, we are born in the cloud company. Our entire solution is cloud based, right? So that the benefit for us because of that is it allows us to have AI at scale. It allows us to scale as without having any kind of inhibitions from a technology standpoint. The second is it also becomes adaptive because as I'm collecting more and more telemetry from various endpoints, etc., across the organization, that makes my security cloud that we have built that much more smarter, and then I can respond faster to customers across the globe. Another key aspect, which is very important for us, is we are extremely adversary focused. That if I have to beat an adversary, I need to wear his hat to understand what his motivations are, what is his tradecraft, right? Unless I wear his shoes, I will not be in a position to really understand what he is looking at, what his motivations are, what is it. And today, another study has said that almost 80 to 85% of any attack in an organization has some our solutions will always have an adversary focused solution in place. And today we track over 170 adversaries, which is pretty much almost about 90-95% of the attacks are through these adversaries, and we track all of them, right? And our solutions are based to really cater to these kind of adversaries. And of course, world-class expertise, because skills shortage, which I spoke about earlier. So we have people to really offer services. So we could really take MDR as a service. We can provide security as a service, and we have been recently announced as the leaders as well, even in that space. And also in terms of doing managed threat hunting, also in terms of threat intelligence, there are multiple aspects from a service standpoint that we could really enable your teams. One is to avoid hands-on keyboard activity, etc., and also support your team in terms of day-to-day operations as well. And we do all of this. That is the beauty about the whole solution, is that it's through a single lightweight agent, right? It is single agent for any of these use cases. So that is the beauty of our solution, and it spans across, be it endpoints, it could be on the cloud, it could be identity based, it could be containers, whatever you talk about, it is the same single lightweight agent which helps protect your environment. And this is another unique thing to CrowdStrike. We have built, just like, we are all aware, like SFDC had its own cloud, right? Like this CRM cloud. Similarly, our Workday had this HR cloud, for instance. So similarly, at CrowdStrike, today we have built something called the security cloud, right? This is very, very unique, and this is huge, wherein we partner with third parties as well to get their telemetry in as well and to provide meaningful insights. And in this security cloud today, we take more than 1 trillion events every day. That's the kind of thing that we are talking about. Huge amount of data, because all of this AI, and on top of it, AI, definitely AI and ML really works, and which helps us in terms of giving a particular solution. I will not touch upon the platform. I don't want this to be a product-based thing, so I will just skip this. Definitely we can speak later. So this talks about the entire platform. So right from endpoint security to cloud security to threat intelligence, which is where I will take the 3 use cases. So the first use case, right? What we are seeing today, 80%, as per studies, we have seen that 80% of any attacks are identity based, identity theft related, right? Because of the AD, Active Directory kind of vulnerability that we have seen, 80% of threats are through people, through some people service accounts or through any password, this thing, etc. So that's what we are seeing. So what we have done is we have built a solution specifically to address this particular threat that customers face, and ours is unique and it's totally based on a zero trust framework, wherein we look at the entire triage of the 3 parameters of data, the data posture, device posture, and the identity to really take a meaningful insight. So we could apply zero trust at scale, unlike any other organization. That is one. So what does this mean to you as an organization? Is, let's say Venkatesh, let's say I am using a particular laptop, which has a particular serial number, right? So I know the system knows that every day in the morning I come in, I access the application through a particular laptop, through certain serial number. Suddenly one fine day, there's a different machine. So the system will detect the anomaly, and then it will throw a challenge. It will integrate with third party MFA vendor, for instance, and then throw a challenge. Then throw a 2-factor authentication, and then depending on that, it will take care. So that is one aspect. Or it could be that I have accessed the system from, let's say, Mumbai, and through proper credentials, and it passes through, and somebody has stolen my credentials, and suddenly within 2 minutes, I'm finding the access happening out of Delhi, which is humanly impossible, right? So that's where the system will detect that and ensure that, again, the challenge is thrown. So that's what we mean by zero trust architecture at scale. The second use case, which we are seeing a huge amount of adoption in, especially the BFSI sector, is threat intelligence. BFSI sector is one of the most, adversaries are most attacked in the BFSI sector, as we are all aware. So threat intel becomes a very, very key factor, and what we have seen unique to CrowdStrike is, whilst we look at the various telemetry at the endpoint and various data layer, we also look at what is happening from a situational awareness perspective, from a digital risk monitoring perspective. What is happening about let's say the banks or the BFSI companies' interest in the social channels, etc. What is it and how the adversaries are really tracking that. So we really look at that and advise banks in terms of these are some of the risks that could be possible for your bank or for your brand. Yeah. So that is the second use case that we are seeing a good amount of proponent in the BFSI segment. The third key, this thing is in terms of log management. This is a perennial challenge because we all want to always keep on adding as much. We all know it's a no-brainer, right? The more logs that I have that I can collect, the better it is for me to analyze and get meaningful insights. But the problem is, the more data, the moment I start collecting, the cost goes significantly. Then I need to do a cost-benefit analysis, right? So that traditionally inhibits more and more of the BFSI organization to limit the amount of data. Then I start prioritizing. They say, okay, oh, this makes sense. This is not that very important. Let me drop it for now. Once I have the budget, which never comes, right? Budgets is always shrinking, right? Once I have the budget, I will do it, etc. But that never happens. So we help solve that particular problem using our unique solution, which is an acquisition that CrowdStrike did last year, and this is available GA now. So what it essentially does is, it's very unique. It's a radical concept wherein we are looking at the entire storage happening. It is index-free. So there is no indexing. Because traditionally, what is the main problem? The more data I collect, I have to have parsing, I need to do indexing, right? So that's the reason if it's a 1 terabyte of data, it goes up to 3 or 4 terabytes, right? In the traditional world. What we do, because it is index-free, we just put a timestamp and say it is index-free. And on top of it, we also do compression. And compression 15 times. That's the thing that we are talking about. 15 times compression. So it's a 1 terabyte data. I'm only storing about 15 GB, right? And the benefit, and on top of it, because amount of data is less, for me the search also becomes much more faster. We have proven results wherein we can search in sub-seconds, even petabytes of data. So that's unique to CrowdStrike, and this particular solution can integrate with any of the SIEM solutions that a customer has. Because we do understand that you would have made investment in a SIEM solution from any of the other vendors, and this could integrate seamlessly with any of the SIEM solution, so that your overall TCO comes down drastically. From a log storing perspective, you can store it on CrowdStrike, and then the front end could still be your existing SIEM solution or whatever. So that's another unique solution. These are the 3 use cases I thought I will touch, and I would like to once more summarize the key aspects of our solution. Adversary focus is what I spoke about. We track over 170 adversaries today. The second key aspect is cloud native platform, and the third key aspect is from a world-class expertise perspective. We have been doing this for a living for the last 11 years. We have over 70,000 customers today, and we track, and we have built a security cloud which has over trillions of events that we collect every day. The richness of data really helps in terms of providing that particular solution. So it could be in terms of just providing you with managed threat hunting, or it could be an NDR service which we can take up your entire service thing on us. And we are unique to also provide you a breach prevention guarantee. So if we take up the service, if CrowdStrike is taking up your service, we are the only ones in the industry to really give you a breach prevention guarantee of up to $1 million. So in case you are breached, we say that we will pay you. But we do understand that brand value is much higher, but at least we want to put our neck in the game, our skin in the game as well. And the best part is we have been doing this for the last 11 years till date when we are not been required to do it. So that shows the robustness of our solution. Yeah. And of course, we do understand that in the security industry, it's not one single company which can solve all the security problems. So we have to work closely with ecosystem partners, and so that is the reason we have over 300 plus ecosystem partners with whom we partner with, and it's an API-based system that we have, and then so that you have a comprehensive security solution. Of course, we are leaders. I mean, I'm sure everybody is aware on the EDR side, we have been leaders. MDR also we are just announced as the leader. The Forrester came back last week. Forrester we said that CrowdStrike dominates EDR. I mean, that's the kind of thing that people talk about today. And of course, all the certifications, compliance we meet. This is more in terms of what customers are talking about. So that's where I would like to end. I think I'm just a minute short. So open to questions. Yeah.
So you're talking about adaptive AI being used, correct? Now as AI matures and more people became aware about it and what it is being used for, there is also a terminology which is gaining importance, is responsible AI. So are you in line with responsible AI or are you against? I mean, the whole concept of CrowdStrike is pro responsible AI or is it anti-responsible?
It is pro. Because ultimately it has to be a responsible.
So how do you ensure that you may want to proclaim responsible AI, and how do you prevent, who is watching the person who's doing this?
See, for us, it's all at the back end threat analysis that we are really watching in terms of what is it that we are doing. Plus, in terms of productivity, we are also talking in terms of what is happening in the industry as well. As you rightly said, this is the new approach which is really gaining in prominence. So that's where we are also structuring our system to ensure that we respond to that in that particular fashion.
So